Hey, Travis Hessman here with IndustryWeek. I'm at IMTS 2014. I'm standing here with Dave Burns of ExOne. Um, and we're just talking 3D printing, what's going on at the show. So this year, it's building up, and it seems, from my perspective, it's a really big year for 3D printing. Last year, all you guys were in small booths, tucked away in the emerging tech. This year, they're building a car out there, and you guys are in these elaborate booths with a lot of big traffic coming through. Could you tell me what's going on in the industry as far as the attendance and what's going on right now?
Sure. Well, in general, I think IMTS has expectations overall of much better attendance than 2 years ago. In fact, probably almost record-breaking attendance. Every square foot of booth space is sold out at the show itself, and the booths are generally bigger, so it's probably an indicator that people perceive that we're maybe at the top of the capital spending cycle. So spending right now on manufacturing technology products is pretty strong. Specifically within 3D printing, of course, you have a factor even above and beyond that because the popularity of 3D printing, especially on the industrial side, has grown a lot over the last couple of years for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now, you're a metal printer and a sand printer, and I just read the latest Waller's report that said it's supposed to expand like 400% the next 4 years. Really crazy numbers. Could you tell me what's pushing that in the industry right now?
Well, from the beginning, we have been a 3D printing company that's been focused on industrial applications and industrial materials. So unlike some of the other companies in 3D printing that focused on the consumer product side or maybe even prototyping side, we've been focused on trying to get to production quality, production cost. And in some sense, we expect our growth path may be even more vigorous than some of the other things that are being predicted because we're in the industrial space. And in the end, of course, especially with metal parts, the industrial space is the largest consumer of metal parts. So we think our business is going to be pretty robust over the next couple of years.
Good. Now I wonder, we're standing at IMTS, the 30th iteration of the event. We're surrounded by machine tools, grinders, all these like really traditional metalworking tools. Do you think that 2014 3D printing has finally earned its place out of the emerging tech and onto the floor, mixed in with the technologies?
I think it's beginning to. I think the adaptation phase of traditional manufacturing to ultimately employ 3D printing is a long and rigorous process, as it should be, because people are risking millions and millions of dollars worth of traditionally installed equipment. If you decide to displace that, you need to be sure that the companies themselves that provide the technology are going to be there, that the equipment itself is robust enough and dependable enough in production that it's going to serve you over many years. And that's a big decision. And the thing is that the decision is sort of a one-way door. I mean, once you go through the door, you're not coming back through it. So I think we would all expect that purposeful companies are going to be rigorous in their decision making, and I think we're right on the edge of that. We're seeing the first larger scale adaptations of 3D printing on the industrial floor. I think it portends well. But the other point I want to make about all this is a lot of pundits sort of hypothesize that it's an all or nothing question. It's as if either 3D printing is going to be all of manufacturing or none of manufacturing. And I would simply contend neither of those positions is true. In fact, if 3D printing was a component of the overall industrial manufacturing scheme, it still can be a very robust and healthy business without having to make every metal part everywhere in the world with 3D printing.
Perfect. Now, I see that around your booth. Like you see a lot of 3D printing booths. They have a lot of doodads and gizmos sitting around just to like show off the capabilities. You walk around here; these are all very familiar parts. Everyone here is a manufacturer, and they're familiar with the environment. And they walk into a 3D printing booth, and I think they expect to see like rockets and 21st century crazy things, right?
Sure.
But here they're seeing very familiar objects, very familiar applications. Um, so do you come in? Is that easier to approach them when you can show them like actual things they can bring into their factory today? And how do they respond to that?
Sure, absolutely. Somebody walking by in the aisle looks in and he says, hey, there's a filter. I know what I do with a filter, or there's an impeller, or there's a rotor. As common objects, especially smaller shop owners who do a variety of metal parts walk by and they say, I see those parts every day. somehow we're connecting now the idea of 3D printing with what would be viewed as mainstream industrial production, which has been our intention from the beginning as ExOne. As I said, we never intended to be a consumer products company or a prototyping company. We intended to be a mainstream industrial production company.
So you're taking the amazing out of 3D printing or replacing it with the practical, right?
Well, we hope we're doing both. We're making the amazing practical.
All right. With that, I'll wrap it up. I'm Travis Hessman, Industry Week, talking here at IMTS 2014.